What kind of fear drives a man to seek answers from the dead, when the living God is the only lasting solution? King Saul was once chosen by God, anointed with oil, lifted from obscurity to the throne of Israel. But by the end of his life, Saul was desperate, afraid, and spiritually silent. The Philistine army had gathered for war. Their numbers were overwhelming. Saul looked out over the valley and his heart melted with fear. So he did what every leader should do in a crisis. He sought God, but God did not answer. Not by dreams, not by prophets, not by the Urim. Heaven was silent, and instead of repenting, instead of humbling himself, Saul made a fatal decision. He turned away from God and toward the dead, the forbidden choice. Ironically, Saul himself had outlawed witchcraft and necromancy in Israel. He knew God's law. Let no one be found among you who practices divination or consults the dead. Yet that night Saul disguised himself and said to his servants, "Find me a woman who is a medium so I may inquire of her." They led him to a witch in a small village called Endor, under cover of darkness. The king of Israel stood before a woman he should never have approached. She was afraid at first. She knew necromancy was illegal, but Saul swore an oath, using the name of the Lord he had already abandoned. And then he asked the unthinkable, "Bring up Samuel for me." When the woman performed her ritual, something unexpected happened. She screamed. This wasn't a trick. This wasn't smoke and mirrors. God allowed the prophet Samuel to appear, and Samuel's words were not comforting.
Why have you disturbed me by bringing me up? The enemies are near, and God would not answer me. Why ask me, since the Lord has departed from you and become your enemy? Tomorrow, you and your sons will be with me. The Lord will deliver Israel into the hands of the Philistines.
Saul collapsed. The king who once stood tall in God's favor now lay face down on the ground, defeated before the battle even began. This story is not just ancient history. It is a warning to us today. When people reject God's voice, they don't stop seeking guidance. They just seek it in the wrong places. Saul didn't fall in one night. He fell slowly, through pride, through disobedience, through partial repentance. And when God was silent, Saul chose forbidden knowledge over humble surrender. Consulting the dead did not save him. It sealed his destruction. God's silence is not permission to sin. Fear is never an excuse to disobey. When heaven feels quiet, the answer is not darkness. It is repentance, patience, and trust. Because when you turn from God long enough, you may still hear a voice. But it won't lead to life. Choose whom you will seek, the living God, or voices that only lead to death.